Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, and give all praise, glory, and honor. Hashem, YAHAWASHI, Bahashem, Ramakakodash. Double honor to the apostles, great millstone, taught me the truth. And blessings all you sincere labors out there pushing truth, and all sincerity and faith and honesty. I'm that fellow servant, Kanakla, coming once again. GMS 10, Bay 12, Prophet Service, St. Peter's, very Florida. YAHAWASHI, the Holy One. I'd like to thank YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, putting spirit on me to do another lesson. Now, the title of this lesson is The Belief in the Messiah is based wholly off of faith. You know what I mean? Because the one who we're ignorantly calls Jesus Christ is the Messiah, alright, the Savior of the children of Israel, alright, that's who he came to save. And his real name is YAHAWASHI. And the belief in him is based wholly off of faith, man. Alright? Now, I have an article here which I knew about for some time, you know, about these sources. But this article here says ancient evidence for Jesus, which we know him as YAHAWASHI, from non-Christian sources. Alright, so this is you know, recordings of the Messiah from other sources than the Bible. Okay? It says, although there is overwhelming evidence that the New Testament is an accurate and trustworthy historical document, all right, and a lot of people don't accept the scriptures as historical documents, you know, and the Gospels, all right, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, okay, those are eyewitnesses, man. You know, those when you say those the Gospel according to Matthew, a gospel according to Luke, you know, a gospel according to John, you know, and those are eyewitnesses, men that were actually there witnessing these things. And then, you know, when you go to the court of law, I remember on this movie, God Is Not Dead. You know, when you go in the court of law, eyewitnesses, you know, if enough people say, oh, I saw him there, or I saw him there, you know, that person can be very well, that's how they solve crimes. That person can be very well guilty of a crime because enough people saw him there present. You know, like, oh yeah, I saw him over there. You know, when I heard the gunshots, I saw him leaving. And, you know, if you get enough people to say that, then evidence point to, hey, well, this must be the murderer. You know, so these gospels are evidence in itself that YAHAWASHI exists. Okay? So it says, although there's overwhelming evidence that the New Testament is an accurate and trustworthy historical document, many people are still reluctant to believe what it says unless there's also some independent, non-biblical testimony that corroborates its statements. In the introduction of his books, F.F. Bruce tells us about a Christian correspondent who was told by an agnostic friend that apart from obscure references of Josephus and the like, there was no historical evidence for the life of YAHAWASHI outside the Bible. This he wrote to Bruce and caused him great concern and some little upset in his spiritual life. He concludes his letter by asking, is such collateral proof available, and if not, are there reasons for the lack of it? The answer to this question is yes, such collateral proof is available, and we will be looking at some of it in this article. So the evidence from Tacitus. Now we're going to see who Tacitus is. Tacitus. However I pronounce his name, his Roman name. Go to it real quick. Alright. Tacitus. Alright, Publius Cornelius Tacitus was a senator and a historian of the Roman Empire. Tacitus is considered to be one of the greatest Roman historians. Okay? So this is a very credible guy here. Okay? Let's see what he said. It says, let's begin our inquiry with a passage from historian Edwin Yamuchi calls probably the most important reference to YAHAWASHI outside of the New Testament, reporting on Emperor Nero's decision to blame the Christians for the fire that had destroyed Rome in AD 64 AD. The Roman historian Tacitus wrote, Nero fastened the guilt on a class hated for their abominations called Christians by the populace. Christus, from whom the name had its origin, suffered the extreme penalty during the reign of Tiberius at the hands of Pontius Pilate, and a most mischievous superstition, thus checked for the moment, again broke out, not only in Judea for the first source of evil, but even in Rome. All right, we can learn from this ancient and rather unsympathetic reference to YAHAWASHI and the early Christians. Notice that Titus reports Christians derive their name from a historical person called Christus. All right, and that's what they would call him, Christus. All right, that's that Greek. All right, so that's who they was referring to. It says Nero fastened the guilt on a class hated for the abominations called Christians by the populace. Christus, from whom the name had its origin, suffered the extreme penalty. Okay, so they was called Christians. Why? Because they were followers of the Greek name they would call him, Christ. Okay, so it's making reference of the Christians. They were called Christians because of what? This man Christ. All right, when that's, once again, that's his Greek name. We know him as YAHAWASHI. Now it says, what can we learn from this ancient and rather unsympathetic reference to YAHAWASHI and the early Christians? Notice that Titus reports Christians derive their name from a historical person called Christus, from the Latin, or Christ, exactly Latin. It says he is said to have suffered extreme penalty, obviously alluding to Roman method of execution known as crucifixion. All right, so that's one source. Let's go on evidence from Pliny the Younger. All right, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing these names wrong. So let's go to him real quick. Pliny the Younger. Gaius Plinius Caecilius Secundus, born Gaius Caecilius or Gaius Caecilius Silo, alright, however it's pronounced, better known as Pliny the Younger, was a lawyer, a author, and a magistrate of ancient Rome. Pliny's uncle Pliny the Elder helped raise and educate him. Okay, Pliny the Younger wrote hundreds of letters, of which 247 survive and are great historical value. Okay, so another credible, individual. All right, so let's see, what he said. All right, it says, at one point in his letter, Pliny relates some of the information he has learned about these Christians. They were in habit of meeting on a certain fixed day before it was light, when they sung in alternate verses in hymn to YAHAWASHI, Mashiach, right, as to a God, and bound themselves by a solemn oath not to any wicked deeds, but never to commit any fraud, theft, or adultery, never to falsify their word, nor deny trust when they should be called upon to deliver it up. After which it was their custom to separate and then reassemble to partake of food, but food of ordinary innocent kind. It says this passage provides us with a number of insights into the beliefs and practices of early Christians. Okay, first we see that the Christians regularly met on a certain fixed day for worship. Second, their worship was directed to YAHAWASHI, which Christ they have here. Okay, demonstrating that they firmly believed in his divinity. Furthermore, one scholar interprets Pliny's statements that hymns were sung to YAHAWASHI as to a god. Alright, so let's keep going. It says evidence from Josephus, and we all know who Josephus is. Alright, Josephus, born of Joseph ben Mattatyahu, was the first century Roman Jewish historian who was born in Jerusalem, then part of Roman Judea. Alright, and Flavius Josephus, okay, is very, very credible, alright, historian. Alright, so let's go back. It says perhaps the most remarkable reference to Jesus, YAHAWASHI, outside the Bible can be found in the writings of Josephus, a first century Jewish historian, on two occasions in his Jewish antiquities. Alright, so let's see what he says. As interesting as the brief references, there is an earlier one, which is truly astonishing, called the Testimonium Flavianum. The relevant portion declares, about this time there lived Jesus, YAHAWASHI, a wise man, if indeed one ought to call him a man, for he wrought surprising feats. He was the anointed. When Pilate condemned him to be crucified, those who had come to love him did not give up their affection for him. On the third day he appeared to restore it to life, and the tribe of Christians has not disappeared. Did Josephus really write this? Most scholars think the core of this passage originated with Josephus, but that it was later altered by a Christian editor, possibly between the 3rd and 4th century AD. But why do they think it was altered? Josephus was not a Christian, and it is difficult to believe that anyone but a Christian would have made some of these statements. For instance, the claim that YAHAWASHI was a wise man seems authentic, but the qualifying phrase, if indeed one ought to call him a man, is suspect. Right? It implies that YAHAWASHI was more than human, and it is quite unlikely that Josephus would have said that. It is also difficult to believe he would have flatly asserted that YAHAWASHI was the Christ, especially when he later refers to YAHAWASHI as the so-called Christ. Finally, the claim that on the third day YAHAWASHI appeared to his disciples restored to life, in so much as it affirms YAHAWASHI's resurrection, is quite unlikely to come from a non-Christian. Alright? So it says, alright, Khan. So that's another source. Another source is the Babylonian Talmud. Alright, it says, on the eve of Passover, Yeshua, talking about YAHAWASHI, was hanged. For 40 days before the execution took place, a herald cried, he is going forth to be stoned because he had practiced sorcery and enticed Israel to apostasy. Alright. Evidence from Lucian. The Christians worship a man to this day, the distinguished personage who introduced their novel rites, talking about the scriptures, and was crucified on that account. It was impressed on them by their original lawgiver that they are all brothers from the moment that they are converted and deny the gods of Greece. Alright, and those would be the Gentiles. Okay, so this is even historical evidence. Alright, they're Gentiles. Alright, the Christians were Israelites. So the Gentiles were Israelites. It says after they converted and denied the gods of Greece and worship and the crucified sage in life after his laws. Okay, so in conclusion, let's summarize what we learned about YAHAWASHI from this examination of ancient non-Christian sources. First, both Josephus and Lucian indicate that YAHAWASHI was regarded as wise. Second, Pliny and Talmud, Lucian imply he was powerful and revered teacher. Third, both Josephus and Talmud indicate he performed miracles, feasts. Fourth, Tacitus and Josephus, Talmud, and Lucian all mention that he was crucified. Tacitus and Josephus say this occurred under Pontius Pilate. The Talmud declares it happened on the eve of Passover. Fifth, there are possible references to the Christian belief in YAHAWASHI's resurrection in both Tacitus and Josephus 6. Josephus records that YAHAWASHI followers believe he was the Christ or Messiah. And finally, both Pliny and Lucian indicate the Christians worship Jesus as God. Which that is off. Alright. I hope you see how this small selection of ancient non-Christian sources helps corroborate our knowledge of YAHAWASHI from the Gospels. Of course, there are many ancient Christian sources of information about YAHAWASHI as well, but since the historical reliability of the canonical Gospels is so well established, I invite you to read those authoritative life of Jesus. Alright, so there's other sources, non-biblical sources of YAHAWASHI. And going back to the title of this article, of this video, is that we believe the Messiah based off of faith, man. Alright? Let me search for scripture. Alright, we believe based off of faith. Alright, we don't, this all this that I read really means absolutely nothing to me. Okay? Blessed are they that seen kind. It's St. John, KJV 20. All right. So all that I read, you know, going into the evidence, all right, and you know, going to all that, you know, all sorts of evidence of Christian sources, that means absolutely nothing to me, man. All right, this is based off of faith, man. I don't need that evidence, you know. We us brothers here, you know, we don't need that. You know, we believe in a Messiah based off of faith. All right, and there's nothing that anybody can take away from that. Nothing that anybody can do about that. All right, this app is taking forever to load. Let's see something real quick. Let's lock here. See if Bible apps on here. All right, so no problem. I just have to read get straight to the point. This is St. John chapter 20, verse 29. Yahawashi said unto him, Thomas. All right, now this is Thomas. He desired to once Yahawashi risen, he desired to touch him with his hands. You know, he didn't believe the other disciples when they came and told him he's risen. So this account, this Yahawashi said unto him, St. John 20, verse 29. Yahawashi said unto him, Thomas, because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Blessed are they that have not seen and yet have believed. All right. And many other signs truly that Yahawashi in the presence of disciples which are not written in this book. All right. But these are written that ye might believe that Yahawashi is anointed, the Son of the Most High, and that believing you might have life through his name. Okay. So regardless, based off of this this evidence, so-called evidence, all right, we believe in Yahawashi based off of faith, man. All right, this means absolutely nothing. Okay, but this is needful, you know, for some. You know, some brothers may need to be converted by, you know, such things, but at the end of the day, it still takes faith. All right, and we believe that when Yahawashi does return, all right, when search for scripture, the Son of Man come, search for it. Matter of fact, shall find faith on earth. Okay, because the times we're coming in, okay, we're getting to some horrific times. All right, and you know, no matter how many guns you rack up on, no matter how many weapons, you know, you want to obtain, and you know, getting your arsenal, no matter how much food, you know, you store up. All right, if you ain't got the spirit of Yahawashi on you, right, you're not gonna make it in these last days, man, because we're coming into a times where it's gonna look like, you know, like, damn, there is a God, you know, is Yahawashi really coming back? But that's when you gotta hold on to your faith in these last days, man. All right, because it's gonna get bad. Your faith is gonna be tested. All right, this is Luke 18:8. It says, I tell you, he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on earth. So he's gonna be looking for those people that's been waiting on him, man. All right, that's been waiting on his return. All right. Last scripture I'm going to get is when ye shall see the Son of Man coming. I believe this is Luke. Yeah, Luke 21. All right. Come on, Satan. get out of here. It says, Luke 21:27, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. Okay? And that's what we waiting on, man. You know, every brother's waiting on Yahawashi to come back in that cloud with great glory. All right? We don't need no evidence, you know. We don't need no evidence at all, man. All right? Last scripture I'm going to close out with. This is Hebrews 11 verse 1. It says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Okay? So we have faith, right, that the Messiah exists. We have faith that he walked this earth. Alright? We have faith that he was risen. Okay? And we have faith that he's going to return in the same manner he left. Alright, we have faith that he's going to return back on what you call so-called UFOs, man. Alright, and we don't need any evidence. Okay, it says the evidence of things not seen. Alright, and that's what's going to keep us going in these last days, waiting on Yahawashi. That's what we're waiting on. Alright, you know, nothing really more, you know, that we can show you, man. You know, I haven't seen him. All right, but did not Yahawashi say, blessed are those have not seen and yet believe? Okay, we haven't seen him in this life, but we, you know, only thing we have is faith. You know, I can't sit here and show you and guarantee like, yo, he said this or he did this, or like, only thing that I have is faith. I believe he's coming. All right, I believe he exists. I believe this is his word. Okay? So with that, Lord willing, edified, and with all praise, glory, and honor to YAHAWASHI, the one set apostles of great millstone, that taught me his truth, and blessings all you sincere labors out there pushing truth in all sincerity and faith and honesty. Shalom.